Reselling used to be the perfect middle class income. You could thrift on the weekends, you could list at night and make some really great extra income. But over the last couple of years, something has really changed and a lot of people haven't really put a name on it yet, but we're going to talk about it today. Because it isn't about motivation, it's more about math, time, and how almost all of these platforms have shifted. You are new here. I have been a part-time and full-time reseller for over 16 years while raising two small kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I work full-time. And over the last decade, I have seen reselling make some people a lot of money, even those people that work part-time. And I've also seen a ton of people quit reselling because it just did not make sense for them anymore. So what I'm about to say is not meant to discourage anyone. It is to explain why so many capable, smart resellers just feel like they're spinning their wheels and reselling doesn't make sense for them. Reselling used to fit perfectly into the middle class lifestyle. You had predictable fees, affordable inventory, organic traffic, and platforms that really rewarded consistency and volume. You didn't need to be a full-time reseller. You didn't need to be a live seller. You didn't need some huge warehouse with pallets coming in. You didn't have to chase inventory as much as you do now. It was just a simpler, grander time, I can tell you that. Over the last few years, 3 things have shifted altogether and have really changed the model of what it means to be a reseller. If you are new here, you know I am a nerd, so I've made some notes. I'll probably put it on the screen. Time inflation. Listing takes longer, shipping takes longer, customer service takes longer. Platforms have added more steps, more rules, more penalties without adding more margin. I think we all have noticed that over the last couple of years, no matter what platform you sell on. I'm specifically thinking of Poshmark and ThredUp. They have had some of the most roller coaster changes in just the last 4 years. eBay has had significant changes since I started selling there 16 years ago. But for someone with a full-time job, and I'm speaking for myself, and I know a lot of you do reselling part-time, and if you have a family, reselling really started competing with life instead of fitting into it. Customers are more demanding because they're used to great customer service and response time on like Amazon and other huge platforms that we are competing with. It's just so much more nuanced than it used to be even just like 3, 4, 5 years ago. This is a big one, probably one of the biggest changes. Margin compression. Fees have increased, shipping costs have increased, competition has increased. I did a whole video just talking about how thrift stores everywhere around the world are becoming online sellers. Before, we didn't have to compete with these huge thrift stores or even these mom and pop thrift stores because they only sold locally. They sold in their brick and mortar store. I was just on Whatnot last night and there was some thrift store in Indianapolis selling on Whatnot. And the name of their Whatnot shop is their thrift store. And they said, you know, you can come and visit us during business hours, but we're going to run 500 items right now. So think about that. Competition has increased, even if you're not a live seller. They're selling on eBay. A lot of you know this. You told me that in the video I talked about thrift stores selling online. I'll link it down below. So many thrift stores have eBay stores, and I'm talking huge eBay stores with thousands and thousands and thousands of items. And those are our competitors now. 10 years ago, there were no thrift stores on eBay. At least, I was on eBay religiously. Like eBay was my life because 10 years ago, it was my only platform. I maybe saw like 1 thrift store on there a month. I don't even think it was that often. It's nothing like the hundreds or thousands of stores that are selling on these platforms now. So the same item that used to net you $25 now might get you $12 if it sells. And those are just the facts. So fees increased, shipping costs have increased every year, sometimes multiple times a year. And that's not failure, that's just the math. That is the reality of what is going on and what is going to continue to probably happen. This is another big one. Platforms quietly shifted from list consistently to perform consistently. Think of live selling, daily engagement, algorithm games that favor people with flexible schedules, full-time resellers, or businesses, not individuals. We could do a whole separate video on this, but that is what these platforms favor. Think about it. Think about any platform. If you're a live seller, what do they keep pushing? Go live, go live, go live. I just got an email from Whatnot saying, what did it say? Live sellers that go live 2 to 3 times a week make 50% more than those that go live monthly. As soon as you open your Poshmark app, live, 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 like you cannot escape it. And they want you to be banging out all of these platforms, as many listings as humanly possible. The more you list, the more you sell. Of course, you have to be listing things that people want to buy. That's a whole other video, right? You can't just be listing junk like I did when I started my reselling career 16 years ago, and I'm wondering, why is nothing selling? If you're listing a lot of items that people want to buy, I mean, that's just reseller 101. The platform is going to reward you with more sales, but you have to constantly be listing. So this is why the big corporations are all jumping on these platforms. Free People sells on Poshmark. I did not know this. I guess Coach has a closet, an official closet on Poshmark. A lot of thrift stores have closets, stores. I mean, I'm sure, when are we going to see like Mercari and Depop launch live selling? It's got to be coming soon. eBay now, every time I look, I have to fix my eBay notifications because I have eBay notifications on so that I can like see when offers come in when I'm working or like taking a kid to jujitsu or something. But now I am getting inundated with eBay live notifications, and it's very annoying. So I need to go into my eBay app and update that. But even eBay is, you know, really rolling out the live selling. So they are rewarding those large corporations, the full-time resellers that are pumping out 100 items a day, 50 items a day. I just followed this guy on TikTok who lists 70 items every single day. And it is himself, his wife, and like 2 employees doing their whole business, but they are listing every single day, 365 days a year, 70 items. That's harder for us smaller people to compete with. It's not impossible. And I feel like watching this video, you might be like, geez, Nikki, this isn't usually what you talk about. You all know I'm usually, you know, abundance. We can do it. Like we can all make it, and we can. But I think in order for us to be successful, starting right now and in the future, we need to look at how reselling has changed and how you have to pivot in order to continue to make a part-time living or a full-time living doing this. If you have any advice that you want to share, or any ways you've noticed that reselling has changed over the last couple of years, comment down below. But I want to make these types of videos to discuss the reality of what is happening in our reselling businesses so that we know how we can pivot to stay successful if you want to. I always tell you all, I'm not quitting. I've always told you, I don't care if I become a multimillionaire, I would still be a reseller in some form or fashion. I genuinely love it. I love the principles behind it. I've been doing it for a very long time and I don't plan on ever stopping, but I am just seeing the realities of the changes, and there are just certain things that you have to do to pivot in order to be successful, or you'll quit. Honestly, the reason I got the idea for this video is because so many people in 2026, I'm filming this end of January, have told me they're quitting reselling. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the first month of the year, and like 20 of you have told me I'm quitting. And about 10 of those people are full-time resellers, and they said by summer they want to be completely done with it. And a lot of the reasons we discussed are the things I'm talking about right now. So I think it's important to discuss sometimes the not so fun topics so you can plan accordingly. So here's what I am seeing happening for someone who takes in a lot of the information from hundreds of you, is that a lot of these people that are quitting, they don't like make exit videos. They're not like, you know, they don't even have social media. They just list less, they source less, they feel guilty, and they eventually just stop. And not because they weren't good at reselling, but because the cost benefit quietly flipped. It's like a slow draw where they just list less and less and less. They start donating more and more and more. And then they're just like, okay, I'm not a reseller anymore. And that's it, because I just don't make enough for this to even make sense. Friends, this doesn't mean that I am saying reselling it is dead. It just means the version of reselling that worked for a lot of people has changed. Reselling, I believe, still works when the margins are higher, volume is smarter and not bigger, or the model is less time dependent. But pretending it hasn't changed does more harm than good. So the mistake isn't leaving reselling. I think the mistake is trying to run a 2018 reselling strategy on a 2026 platform. And the people who survive, they adapt quietly. So in the next couple of videos, I want to talk about what does still work. So we're going to expand on those 3 things I just mentioned, where reselling still fits into normal everyday life, and how people like myself are shifting without burning out, because the middle class is not lazy, friends. The game has just changed.